Hello, I'm Travis Fig, and this is How Do You Figure, the show about whatever I want. Today, I want to talk about the At the Person Fallacy, sometimes called the To the Person Fallacy, the Against the Person Fallacy, or sometimes you'll see the Latin Ad hominem fallacy. The fallacy is when you claim to be criticizing a position, but actually you're criticizing the people or the person presenting the position. The idea here is that what's important is whether or not the position is well supported, not who's presenting it. There's a problem, though. This isn't actually a fallacy. Okay, so it is a fallacy, but what I mean is the way it's typically described is mistaken. Okay, little story. Back when I'm in college, I head home for the weekend. I go into the bathroom and there's a scale. My mom shouts out, "Don't use that scale, it's busted." Okay, so a scale is a source of information about your weight. But it could be unreliable, and you could have evidence that the scale is unreliable. In this case, my evidence was my mom telling me the scale's busted. A person can be a source of information, but you might have evidence that that source of information is unreliable about certain topics. So let's say there was a big party over the weekend, and we want to know if Jill was at the party. And Sam tells us he was at the party the whole time, he talked to everybody there, he didn't see Jill there, Jill wasn't there. Later on, somebody says, "Hey, I don't trust Sam about that. He lies about that sort of thing all the time." That's not a fallacy. If it's true that Sam lies about who he sees at parties all the time, that's reason not to trust him. And if this other person is to be trusted, then we have some evidence that he lies about this sort of thing all the time. So different made-up example. Suppose the Purple Party sometimes proposes policies that affect school budgets. And they claim that these policies will lead to more funding for the arts programs. But when these proposals get passed, funding for the art program doesn't actually increase significantly. And there's a pattern that keeps happening over and over again. So there's a new policy proposal, and John says, this will increase funding for the arts program. So somebody says, yeah, I don't trust it. John's a member of the Purple Party. If there's an established pattern here and the Purple Party hasn't changed how it thinks about policy, then that's not a fallacy. The fallacy is when you're claiming to criticize a position by criticizing some feature about the person or people making the position that is irrelevant to whether they are a reliable source.